This is Technoman 913-960 with a video in relation to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies. The area of focus is utilizing the jet gun. When it comes to building the jet gun in solo mode, the common levels that you could actually build the entire weapon, being at the best, is generally about the end of round 6, level 6 or 7. And then the latter portion would be level 14. Let's just use that as an example. Once you do build it, in this case I had it built up by the end of level 9. What happens is now we'll discuss certain things about the weapon in general. For one, the bad points about the weapon is that it fills my backhand. And I like to have an open backhand in this game because it gives me the ability to go barehanded and actually escape a lot of enemies and maneuver around them due to their speed. The next thing is when you do bear the weapon and you do apply it via the triangle button on the PlayStation system and controller by swapping weapons, which is tapping, not holding. If you hold it down, you're actually going to install armor plates. What happens is the weapon is a very heavy weapon and it slows the character down a lot. So my suggestion is definitely to purchase the best Kohler in the game, which is Juggernog, and equip it properly so that you are protected slightly from the rear when you are using a weapon such as this. Except from that, what happens is this weapon has two defensive modes. It's really offensive, if you want to look at it that way, as far as killing the enemy. And one is going to be by an explosion, which will automatically diminish the full charge of the weapon. And then the second is going to be a vacuum effect that allows you to draw the enemy in and kill them as well. On the PlayStation controller, I like to flip my buttons over. So my so-called fire button would be the R1 button, and my aim down sight button would be the L1 button. With that being said, what happens is the R1 button will actually be the vacuum aspect of the weapon, and the L1 button is actually going to be the explosion scenario of the weapon. Commonly, if in fact you are a common aim down sight shooter, and I call it more a precision shooter, you got to be really careful, because when you arm this weapon and man this weapon, that if you actually don't build in the scenario of so-called aiming down sight, and you commonly do that, you'll actually cause the explosion to take place, which will diminish the full charge of the weapon. And if you're not intending to do that, it is a big accident in regards to the utilization of the weapon in general. When in fact you do so-called aim down sight, or try to, which is initiating an explosion with the weapon, it does take a little bit of time for it to generate before it gives the explosion. So you may be lucky enough to back out of that without igniting it accidentally. The next thing is the weapon will actually works off of a like a charge, and that is registered in the so-called ammunition box that is located on the HUD that you choose to use. And you want to be aware of that and work it properly. There is an alarm system that will actually ring out like a beeping noise that occurs between the charge of 40 to 30 depreciation. And that will be a warning to get ready to swap weapons and get back to your primary weapon, because the charge is going to be depleted. So with that information in place, let's go ahead and jump into it. We'll show the weapon, and then we'll give some information feed along the way. Here it is. Let's go ahead and back out of this. We'll take a look at the weapon right here. And we'll begin from there. So what happens is, if you notice on my HUD configuration, which I like to use Central Command, my ammunition box is going to be at the so-called 11 o'clock position of the mini-map, and you can see we have 100% charge. Now, when it comes to utilizing the execution of the weapon, we could do it in two different ways. And as far as obtaining the weapon, let alone building it, in which now the system has converted itself over to level number 10. It was the end of level number 9, and that could be seen as well in the upper right-hand corner on my HUD. You want to place strict attention to the ammunition box on your HUD to relate to the charge of the weapon and depreciation of it. So whenever you use the explosion aspect of the weapon, which is going, in my case, pressing L1 and holding it, you will actually complete the entire charge of the weapon, where it's very smart to immediately swap the weapon over. And I'm not too concerned about being injured here. I just want to get the video off. So I wanted to show that as well, meaning that whenever you do so-called man the weapon, you can see the charge building up right there. If in fact you use the explosive feature of the weapon, aim down sight button, L1 in my case, you will deplete the entire charge of the weapon, as you can see. So immediately swap your weapon to your primary so that you can continue engaging the enemy. Okay, really important. Now the next thing I want to show is the recharging of the weapon and the general time frame that it actually occurs. This weapon could be built, and if you're playing in the so-called solo but directed mode, which is more for casual players, this weapon could actually also be obtained, which is actually on my backhand, from the mystery box. Okay, I believe if you're playing in standard, which is more of a difficult so-called scenario, that you can't get it from the mystery box. You actually have to build the weapon. Okay, and that's a guess on my part. I've never received it from the so-called mystery box. So here it is. We'll go ahead and we'll swap over. I'm going to do the explosion and watch the timer in the ammunition box, and we'll get a general feed. This has not been pack-a-punch, so this is the general time frame it takes for the reloading and recharging, I should say, of the weapon. And we're still lacking the charge. And we have generated the full charge of the weapon. So it was really important to understand that. Like I said, if you're an aim down sight shooter like I am, I like to aim down sight a lot. A common mistake that would be made is in fact by pressing that button accidentally. So let's go ahead and man the weapon again, and here it is. If in fact I made a mistake and did that, I can release it. See, I can release it. Almost as if you're like so-called snap drawing firing your weapon like this, okay? Try to get into a habit of that if in fact you are a precision shooter that likes to go down sight, because when you do that often, commonly when you're manning this weapon, you'll go ahead and do that and then you'll back off of it. See what I mean? It's saved that waste of energy. Okay, so we got a general idea of the time frame, the depreciation, the rebuilding of the charge, and things to that effect as well. Let's go ahead and investigate into the other feature, which is an incredible feature, and that's the vacuum effect of the weapon. So the way that you actually initiate that is your fire button. In my case, it would be the R1 button. And there are certain tips in regards to utilizing that as well. You don't want to use it far away from the enemy and try to vacuum the enemy in. That would deplete the energy of the weapon greatly. The best thing to do is actually using it as if you're using a vacuum cleaner. You want to press it and hold it, and you want to run towards the enemy, release it, and you want to try to consume as many as you can in relation to that, and then allow the charge to rebuild, which we're seeing right there as well. Okay, so that's the way you want to use the weapon for sure. So as you get there, you want to get close and try to, and a lot of times by getting close to them, you're actually going to be struck by the enemy. Now, I like to call them enemy because I'm more military, but we already know it's zombies and so on. As far as vacuuming now and utilizing that feature, you will have the availability to vacuum in the common zombies, normal zombies, the armed zombies, but you will not be able to vacuum in the elite zombies in the game, such as the Mangler and the Abomination and things to that effect. Okay, so you got to be aware of that as well. You will be able to vacuum things off the ground, such as salvage, and you will be able to vacuum pop-up menus that come up, such as max ammo and insta-kill and things to that effect, bombs and so on. But you see, the further you are away, if I want to pick up that salvage, watch how slow it works to try to retrieve that. Okay, so you got to be aware of that as well. It has a slow pull when it comes to that scenario. Whereas the zombies are actually quicker to be pulled in from the vacuum aspect of the machine. And you want to do, like I said, you want to treat it like a vacuum cleaner, right? And you want to maneuver your way as close as possible to the enemy in order to get the greatest consumption of the weapon in its own. Like release it, do it again, release it. But you can see we can't bring in the elite zombies, such as that Mangler right there. Say what? Okay. So right now we're on a full depletion of the charge, which you always want to keep your eye on that. I actually made the mistake, which is good for the video right there, by trying to initiate it, and it wasn't ready. It wasn't ready. It's always good to duck behind a car, but you can see it won't work on this guy. It will not work, but it will kill him, and that's by using the explosion. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. We'll get within the vicinity of the Mangler, and we'll go ahead and kill it. Okay, so let's pick up a little bit of charge here, and you can explode at a certain charge ratio as well. As you can see, the destruction of that elite zombie, the Mangler. Now, when you do have it in your hand, you will be able to cross over salvage instead, and that's the better way to do it because the suction of the salvage takes longer in relation to it. Okay, so it's really important to understand these certain things. So, again, to repeat, you always want to pay strict attention to the charge of the weapon, and you'll also notice that you will be alerted in relation to the depletion. Like right there, I caused the explosion by aiming down sight, and that's not the way to do it, and that's a mistake, and you wind up paying for the mistake. As you can see, the weapon is fully depleted. I can't use it anymore, and the more common feature of the weapon, other than attacking the lead enemies, is in fact suction of the weapon. It's nice to get them in a close, tight corridor because it'll make the consumption a lot quicker in relation to it. There is no doubt about that. So I like to work in tight corridors as well. I like to do circle maneuvers just in case the enemy, which is zombies, are behind me. But here's a test right here. Watch. As I'm depleting the energy on the weapon, you will get an alert to let alone the low ammo feature. See right here? You can hear that beeping. And I believe it occurs generally at about maybe between 40 and 30 on the scale depleting out to so-called zero, which would be no ammo. It actually warns you in the centristics of the screen saying low ammo. And that's another tool that you would use and pay attention to when manning such a weapon. So here it is, after pocketing the weapon, I got it fully charged, approached them, tried to drain them in, And I also believe that the game itself recognizes the fact that you're using this weapon. And because of that, they'll create a very much, I should say, a larger amount of zombies in the game because of the elimination feature that's being caused. A lot of times it's good to release it so that you can regenerate charge and not burn it all out. There is no doubt about that as well. Now, my suggestion, once you do that, and we'll run a couple of tests here so that we could see if there is a differential, which is going to be the charge ratio of the weapon not pack-a-punched as opposed to the charge of the weapon when it is pack-a-punched. Same goes for the explosion ratio. So here it is again. We're going to get to a full charge of the weapon, and we're going to go ahead and deplete it out. You'll hear the warning. You'll see the icon. And you could do a counting method yourself, such as 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000, 11, 1,000, 12, 1,000, 13, 1,000, 14, 1,000, 15, 1,000, 16, 1,000. So it took about 15 seconds to fully regenerate a charge after the use of it. Soon we'll pack-a-punch the weapon to get an idea about that, but just hold that in mind, about 15 seconds to recharge the weapon in its own. The next thing is trying to get an idea of the blast ratio that occurs when using it. And notice that that would be the general blast ratio without the weapon being pack-a-punched, let alone will it kill a lot of the enemy zombies that are in the location. It will also knock down some of them as well and not actually kill them. Okay, so you got to be aware of that. As you can see, it stuns them, and it also stuns the elite characters as well. Even the Abomination gets stunned by the explosion as long as you're within the explosion ratio. With that being said, the next thing we're going to do is I do have a Juggernaut, and you can see the icon, at least on my HUD. I will put an indicator on that. We are going to pack-a-punch this weapon. So here it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the shroud to go invisible so I don't get trapped in there. I'll open up the door. I'll man the weapon, of course. And I'll go ahead and I'll pack-a-punch the weapon. And I'll go ahead and exit out without them seeing me. And begin to use the weapon. See how I sucked in the insta-kill? And let's windle these guys down here so that we could discuss things. So we got 3 of them over there. Could even take out another one if I want. Or a couple, actually. I tripped the level. Anyway, that'll work. Give me a little break here. I mean, I'm going to take a break here and put a marker in. And I'll go ahead and I'll deplete it out and we'll work on some additional information. Stand by. Okay, here it is. We pack-a-punch the weapon. And we're going to go ahead and see the benefits of the pack-a-punch, which I'm sure there are. I would have to use my imagination prior to that. We're going to have a quicker charge ratio. Hopefully it will actually recharge as well more quickly in relation to it as well. So we do have an Abomination that we could put a test on as well as far as explosion and damage. We are at a pack-a-punch 1 now instead of just the initiation of the weapon after the build. But the first thing I do want to check is the timer. Let's go ahead and exploded. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000, 11, 1,000, 12, 1,000, 13, 1,000, 14, 1,000, 15, 1,000. Doesn't seem to be a change to me, man. It doesn't seem to be giving me any kind of change in relation to the recharging time necessary for it to be at full power using that kind of test right there. So being the fact of that, what benefit are we going to have? Well, maybe the suction is greater. How about that? We could probably suck them in, and I hate to use that word. I mean, well, oh man, there's so many things I could say to that. Anyway, it's really vacuum. Maybe it has a greater vacuum ratio as far as distance of the vacuum. The explosion ratio might be a lot greater and things to that effect as well. These are things that you would have to figure out along the way, but I would definitely pack a punch the weapon because it should do something, all right? Anyway, let's take a check on the explosion damage that occurs to this abomination when we ignite it. Okay, you can see it's definitely going to stun them a little. See that? And you can see the health bar. Commonly, I find that you can kill the abomination elite character with 2 to 3 explosions. Okay. So we're going ahead. We're generating it back up, which it is full now, and we'll hit him again. Okay. And it killed him with 2. The distance away from the abomination was very close, actually. So that might be something you would take into consideration as well. We are at full 100%. You can see the suction distance and the warning timer. Immediately swap the weapon after you deplete it out. And it would be even smart to do that once you're warned of it. It'll actually allow the charging ratio to increase very quickly. And when you deplete the charge, right, and I like to use it in corridors, Juggernaut will protect my backside. You want to release it because what happens is the charging ratio will actually generate immediately. See that? So it's a smart thing to do. Meaning, being the fact that I released it while it still had some charge left to go, it's going to allow it to rebuild itself, as opposed to total depletion, which gives the 15-second delay before the recharging actually takes place. So that's definitely a critical tool as well in regards to mastering the use of the weapon. Do not let it run to full depreciation. The only time is the explosion. Okay, but when you're using the vacuum effect of it, always back off the weapon at the alert and switch to your primary. You'll get greater use out of the weapon. I see I'm being hit from behind, but I'm protected by Juggernaut, and I let it run low, but it's now it's regenerating, and even if I put it in my back hand, it's going to be ready for use very quickly, as opposed to the depletion of the whole scenario. Definitely a good tip in relation to it. Don't waste the energy by trying to suck up the salvage like this right here. Don't waste the energy of the weapon. Just cross over it instead. And that would definitely be good as well. To save energy. Okay, we want to be energy efficient when it comes to utilization of this weapon. So let's go ahead and take a short break here. Let's wait for some elite enemies to come out and just run a final test in relation to its ability to take them out. Use it like a vacuum cleaner. You want to approach it. If you were vacuuming, I sucked in a bomb there or ran over it. If you were vacuuming the carpet or the floor, you're not going to stand there and hope you could vacuum over there. You're going to go over there and vacuum it. So you want to do the same thing. There is no doubt about that. You want to approach it. You want to get close. And you don't want to make the mistake of doing this and letting it go. See what I mean? You let them hit you right away. It's like you're helping them. You don't want to do that. If you're going to use it the right way. All right, anyway, go ahead and take a short break here. Stand by. Okay, here it is. We have a Mangler that's down the street there. Let's get an idea of the blast ratio and the killing effect. He's alone, so here it is. We'll go ahead and hit him, and look at that. See that? It did not hurt him. It did not hurt him. It did not hurt him, so you must consider that. We're at level 19, which they're going to be a little bit more powerful as the levels go by, but we definitely got some information feed there. Don't be stupid and expect it to kill him when it might not, whereas that guy was destroyed by it. Now, why did that happen? Is it because the Mangler was at a higher level? The explosion actually might be related to a level foundation. This is really important. That shock wave that actually occurs may actually relate to a level scenario as well. So you may want to hesitate at pointing up and shooting unless the pointing direction also controls that as well. That Mangler was up in the staircase area and it really seemed to do nothing, not even a stun. Okay, you can see how it won't kill them all. It'll stun them and knock them down, the majority of them. One of them actually remained standing and continued their approach of the attack. Okay, so you could see on the ground that was the weapon necessary, a part of the building of the weapon, so that I could blow the radio house door open. And you could see, like, the effect. See how it knocks some of them down and so on, and the ratio of the blast. Let's go ahead and take a break. Stand by. All right, we're going to go ahead and we have an abomination there that we're going to try to hurt and see if we can get some information. But I tell you, another real good utilization of this is clearing passageways. So say I want to get out of the church. All you want to do is make sure you have enough charge down and just suction them up on your way out. I love that as well. I love that as well. That's really another good utilization of the equipment and weapon. And you'll also notice that when you do consume them via the vacuuming effect, that once the enemy hits the interior of the machine, it also will give you a slight like bump effect to it as well. It'll actually like almost give you a little kick to the weapon. I'm lucky that guy didn't kill me right there. All right, and let's go ahead and check it out. We'll see how bad we can hurt him. Do we want to be facing him? Okay, so we stunned him a little bit. You saw his health bar. Let's get a charge on the weapon, hook around, and try to see it hit him again with an explosion. Okay, and we got to give the 15-second interval for charging. So be smart about it. And we have it, so here it is. Okay, and you can see the effect that took place, okay? And he's about half power right now. Hopefully not too many other zombies are gonna come in the way. I don't know if that's gonna take away anything from the so-called hit involved. Let's get rid of some of them. I don't like to back up, but I wanted to there. I didn't appreciate the full charge, see? So it left me some power so that I don't have to wait 15 seconds for the full charge to even begin. And we'll go ahead and we'll power it all up, and we'll try to hit that guy again. And it didn't kill him. Okay, didn't seem to kill him. I was slightly obstructed by the car. Remember, the explosion, I believe, does perform at a level scenario. If I'm right about that, I'd like to leave one character remaining. Definitely smart to use it that way in the vacuum aspect of it. Do not let it fully drain down. And it'll definitely give you better efficiency. Let's go ahead and hit him again. And that killed him on that blast. Slow motion will be put in as well, so you can monitor the general health ratio and things like that as far as depreciation on their health bar. This guy's almost dead already, so as I'm going around, I can't vacuum him in, but I'll kill him immediately with the explosion. There is no doubt about that. And I believe that's good enough information for the video right there. It's the utilization of the jet gun once you build it. Like I said, commonly you can have this built in a solo mode in standard play within a so-called 7 to 14 level ratio. The next thing is you can obtain this weapon from a mystery box if in fact you're playing in the so-called directed aspect of it, which is more for casual players, where I have to guess that if not, you're going to have to build the weapon in so-called standard. And it is considered to be a wonder weapon. It is a wonder weapon. Okay? It is a wonder weapon in relation to the game. Definitely want to stop using it prior to expiring the charge on the weapon. That is the mastery of the weapon. Explosion's different story. And the explosion that you emit is definitely going to be generated as far as power, depending on the amount of charge remaining on the weapon. Hopefully that information will help anybody in regards to the utilization of the weapon. This is tech number 913960. Good luck. I'm out of here.